Thank you. Is David Allen still here? Director of Transportation. David, you still here? Oh, I guess he snuck out. But anyway, when I was in school in the 60s, you couldn't graduate unless you paid off your parking tickets. And I wanted David to be here because I think the statute of limitations have run out by now. And I still owed parking tickets, and I still got my degree. So I'm really proud of that. Unfortunately, as I look around the room, I think I'm the oldest person here, but I guess that's the way it goes. But because of that, I do have a lot of experience, and part of that was, as already been talked about leaving high school and come to the University of Maryland. I, like a lot of citizens in the state of New Jersey, couldn't get into Princeton, so Rutgers wasn't an option, and so I came to Maryland. And I came to Maryland for one reason, because I was a basketball player in high school, and college is where you played your next basketball. And so I was fortunate enough to come to the University of Maryland to play basketball in my mind. But by the time I was a sophomore here at the University of Maryland, I realized that my basketball days probably were numbered exactly my last game my senior year in college. That was the number, because I realized the talent that I had in high school wasn't going to extend professionally after college. So the big thing for me, the type of school the university was, I was able to get my degree from the School of Business, but also minor in education. And in the back of my mind, I didn't want to leave basketball. I felt I was too young. I hadn't had enough of it yet. I loved the game. I loved the game of basketball. I thought it's one of the great games. Everybody's equal when you get on the court. The best players, best teams, whatever. You work hard to get to that level. And so I had two choices since I couldn't play anymore when I was a senior. It was either be a referee or be a coach. I really only had one choice. There's no way I could ever deal with those guys. So I was very fortunate. I was in school. I got out in '68, and the Vietnam War was pretty much at its height. They were taking 50,000 men in the draft each year. In fact, in May, we went to school till June back then. In May, I went to Baltimore, had my physical, so I was ready to go. And a lot of my high school classmates, my college classmates went to Vietnam, but I was very fortunate. I got my first coaching job. I was a JV coach at Woodrow Wilson High School in Camden, New Jersey. And I did not know it at the time, but it was a great learning opportunity. You learn great things at the university here, but I learned so much in the 3 years I was a high school coach with the guys, seeing people with different problems than maybe I had, and it was a chance to learn from them. And I think that was the key thing that I learned that I probably didn't have when I left here, was that the people that you work with, if you just pay attention, you can really learn from those people. They have things that they've experienced that you haven't experienced. And so if you can pick up on their experiences, and at the same time give them some of your experiences, it's a great learning situation for you. Then the other thing I learned, and this was after my third year, my first year as I was JV coach, then I was the varsity coach in 1970. Our team went 27-0, and we won the state championship in New Jersey. And for all you from North Jersey, we kicked 2 North Jersey teams. I'm from South Jersey, so that's a big thing in New Jersey for those of you not. But anyway, we played the championship game in Atlantic City Convention Hall, where they've had the Miss America pageant over the years, things like that. We played in front of 10,000 people. And as I said, we went undefeated that year. We won that game. And I was 20, I had just turned 25. I was 25 years old. And I thought, man, this is easy. Just you go out there, you go undefeated. Well, the next 40 years, I never went undefeated. So you learn quickly that there's a lot of ups and downs in whatever profession you're in, but certainly in coaching. And so from there, I knew one person that could get me into college coaching. His name was Tom Davis. Tom was a great coach, coached at Boston College, Stanford, Iowa, who we play Saturday in football. and just a great teacher. And he was getting his doctorate here at the University of Maryland, so he's kind of a graduate assistant when I was playing. And he gave me this. He said, look, if I ever get a head coaching job in college, I'll hire you as my assistant coach. You know, people are nice. They say nice things a lot of times, you know, and all that. And so, you know, I was going up to Jersey. I was going to be a high school coach the rest of my life. So he says, so finally he gets the job at Lafayette College in Pennsylvania. Calls me up and he said, I want you to be my assistant coach. I said, great. By then I thought, I might like to try college coaching, see how that goes. So he said, well, before you accept, there's one thing. He said, they've never had a full-time assistant basketball coach before at Lafayette. However, the soccer coach left, and the money in the budget, talking about budgets, is for the soccer coach. So if you come, you have to be the varsity soccer coach in addition to being the assistant basketball coach. So soccer back then, you know, this is 1972, soccer back then was not anything where it is now. And especially on this campus where I think we have the best soccer coach in the country in Sasho Shirosky. You know, he just does a tremendous job. And he'd like us to take up a collection so he can pay his $10,000 fine while we're here. Sasho's the best, but so I turned it down. I turned it down twice, and Tom finally came down to my house in New Jersey and said, you're crazy. You'll never get into college coaching. And so I accepted it. I did it. I've been in some tough games as a basketball coach. The toughest day I ever had as a coach was walking out in that soccer field. Now, I was 25 years old. I had seniors that were 23. And trying to explain to them why I didn't know how to kick a soccer ball was a tough deal. But it taught me one thing. And without doing it, first of all, if I hadn't done that, I'm very serious. I don't think I would have ever gotten into college coaching. And I would have been very happy as a high school coach and, you know, that type of thing. But, you know, sometimes you have to do something that you don't want to do. In other words, you have your choices where you can take the easy road, where you know you're going to be successful if you go here. If you go here, you're taking a chance. You're putting yourself out there a little bit, and you're uncomfortable. You're very uncomfortable. Now, by the time I did that, oh yeah, and the athletic director, he goes, just do it for a year. We'll get a guy in here, you know, take over next year. Well, 6 years later, when I was still the soccer coach at Lafayette. But what that did, it forced me to do something I didn't want to do. But I did it because I was smart enough, at least at that point, to know that if I did that, then I might be able to become a head coach in college. And so I think you have to watch that a little bit. And I've seen people do this where, you know, they don't take the chance, you know, don't put themselves out there. Then all of a sudden they get older and they look back and they regret some things that they did. I never regretted, you know, I regretted the way I coached some games, believe me, but I never regretted, you know, not taking an opportunity. So from Lafayette, it was, I went to Boston College for a year as an assistant, American University for 4 years as a head coach, Ohio State for 3 years, and then in 1989, I came to Maryland and coached till 2011 here. And the one thing you find out in coaching is you have to have talented people, first of all, and I think any of us that work with other people, you can see that. You can't do it yourself. I need talented assistant coaches. I need talented players playing for me. So I was fortunate to have some great players playing for me during the time at the University of Maryland. But at the same time, talent's one thing. The ability to work together is another thing. In other words, are you willing to, in other words, a high school recruit, big-time recruit, he averages 25 points a game in high school. He comes to Maryland, and I say, well, you know, we've got really good players on our team. You're probably only going to average 10 or 12 points a game. You know, and all these guys, they look at you like, what are you, nuts? You know, like, I didn't come here for that, you know. But if they can buy into the team because of their talent, their ability, all of a sudden you become a very good basketball team. And that's true with different companies, different places. They ask you, they want you to be successful and they want you to use your talent, but you have to fit in. And I don't mean you have to conform and be like everybody else. I just mean you have to contribute and make that company, make that team better. And when we've had great teams, it was that. It was great talent and the ability of those people to put it together as a unit. And it's a great thrill when that happens. And, you know, there's failures along the way. There's nothing wrong with failures. In 2001, we went to the Final Four. It was the first year Maryland basketball ever went to the Final Four. and was in Minneapolis. And we come out and we played Duke. That's a school in North Carolina. We got out, I think we were up 22 in the first half. And we were playing great. Man, this is unbelievable. They had got it down to 12 at halftime. They made a run in the second half. It got very close, and some things happened the last couple minutes of the game, and we lost. And I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be tough because this is heartbreaking. We should have won the game. We should have gotten to the championship game. I was really worried about my team because when we came back on campus, having never been to the Final Four before, everybody was telling us how good we were, and all this. And I was worried about my team. Those guys would be satisfied with getting to that level, which is a great level. There's 352 Division I basketball programs. And so to get to the Final Four was pretty good. But they weren't satisfied. A week later, we weren't going to do anything for a couple of weeks, catch up in school, things like that. They were already in a weight room, lifting weights. So then I knew we had a chance the following year, and we won the championship the following year. But it was because we were tough enough to handle the adversity of losing a game we probably should have won at the highest level possible in college basketball. And so how tough does it take for somebody 21, 22 years old to be able to handle that? Well, our guys were great. The Juan Dixons, the Lonnie Baxters, Chris Wilcox, Steve Blake, people like that, Byron Mouton, just tremendous people. And they cared about each other. See, they cared together. We had a lot of bad feelings for a couple of weeks after losing that game. Together, though. It wasn't this guy over here, that guy over there. So part of a group, part of being a part of a group is important. Think about this. Where you go to college never changes. You can get divorced, people come and go in your life, jobs change, things like that happen. Where you go to college never changes. That's yours. My friends today, I'd say half my friends today are people I went to the University of Maryland with. And that's what is here, for you students. That's what's available to you right now, to establish these connections, to establish things, and to really give back to the university. Whatever you can do to give back to the university, you will get a lot of pleasure out of that, especially as you get older and the years go by. I know myself, still being connected to the university after, having coached here, is a great thrill for me. And I'm trying to do some things, to be part of the university still. And it's a great feeling seeing old friends, but it's a great feeling making new friends and just still being a part of things. So I just wish everybody a lot of success here today. This country, there's a lot of negative things, but this is a great place. This country is a great place to try to compete in. And I think we have a lot of great competitors in here today. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.